Muy buenos días para todos y bienvenidos a esta sesión de información de lanzamiento con un nuevo college en el estado de Nueva York. Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros en la mañana de hoy. Un gusto saludarlos como siempre. Gracias por su apoyo, por el interés de descubrir a Hartwick College en la ciudad de Oneonta. Espero haya pronunciado bien esta palabra, Patricia, que es una palabra difícil y nueva. Así que, bueno, hoy tenemos un panel maravilloso. Voy a presentar a nuestros invitados especiales. Tenemos a Patricia Delaney, que es la directora de colaboración e innovación. Tenemos a Caitlin Hummer, que es la asistente administrativa de educación global para Hartwick College. También tenemos a Luisa Andrade, una de nuestras estudiantes en Hartwick, brasilera, que nos va a contar un poco sobre su experiencia, sobre cómo ha sido estudiar en Hartwick College. En un rato más a lo largo de la presentación contaremos con esos valiosos aportes. Y también tenemos de nuestro lado a nuestra colega Dayana Hurtado en Perú, nuestra country manager en Perú, y quien les saluda. Un gusto, como siempre, estar aquí con ustedes. Recuerden que si tienen alguna pregunta la pueden hacer a través de la ventana y el botón Q&A. Al final de la sesión estaremos respondiendo a todas sus preguntas. Pueden hacer la pregunta en español, en inglés, en portugués. Tenemos un panel bilingüe en esta mañana, así que siéntanse tranquilos de hacer la pregunta en el idioma en que más se sientan cómodos. Así que con esto les doy nuevamente la bienvenida y doy paso a Patricia. Creo que va a iniciar con la presentación sobre Hartwick College en la ciudad de Oneonta, en el estado de Nueva York. Patricia, bienvenida y muchísimas gracias por tu participación y asistencia a esta sesión en la mañana de hoy.
Muchísimas gracias, David, por su presentación, su introducción a nosotros. I think I'm supposed to be speaking in English, so I will give the presentation in English, but I first wanted to say buenos días y bon día to all of our colleagues who are joining us from throughout Latin America. As David mentioned, we have a multilingual panel with us today, folks who are speakers of Spanish and Portuguese, and we also have a person on the call who speaks Korean and Chinese and French and several other languages. So feel free to place, as David said, questions in whatever language you're comfortable with. I think we'll be able to accommodate most of the languages that might be spoken by our colleagues on this call. My name is Patricia Delaney, and as David mentioned, I'm the Director of Innovation and Collaboration at Hartwick College in Oneonta, New York, and we're delighted today to have representatives from both our staff and our international students to introduce the college to you. We are located in a very beautiful region of the United States. This opening slide shows you the view from the top of our campus. The view extends out over almost 30 miles to the valley below. And we're quite proud and delighted to share a warm welcome from our beautiful campus to all of you today. We, as an institution, you'll see from our logo in the upper right-hand corner that as a college, we were founded in 1787. We have had a long history of welcoming students from around the United States and around the world to have an excellent experience at Hartwick College. We're very proud of our sense of hospitality and welcome at Hartwick, and we really try very hard to make sure that everyone who comes to us, whether they're a student, a faculty member, or a staff person, whether they're coming from New York City or Los Angeles, or from Sao Paulo or Bogota or Lima, or anywhere else in the world, that they feel welcome and that they feel that they belong in our community. We work very hard at welcoming everyone and creating a vibrant multicultural community where everyone can thrive. So our goal for today is to share a brief PowerPoint presentation, which will give you an overview of the institution. I will share most of the basic information, and then Caitlin and Luisa will jump in a little bit later and share their individual perspectives and experience at the college. Caitlin will be talking quite a bit about our Global Education Office and the services that we provide for students and the opportunities that international students have. And then Luisa, who is one of our most amazing international students, will share her own personal experience both on campus and off. So if we could head to the next slide, we'll go ahead and get started. I believe Jim was going to be moving us to the next slide. I'll just make sure that he, yeah, here we are. Great. Thank you, Jim. So as an institution, we make a promise to all of our students, international students, domestic students, to everyone. Our promise to all students is that Hartwick College, a small private liberal arts college in upstate New York, will provide a future forward approach to education so that every Hartwick Hawk, that's what we call our students, we're the Hawks, so that every Hartwick Hawk is equipped to become what the world needs. And what this means is that as an educational institution, we want to make sure that each and every student has a personalized experience that gives them the skills, the tools, and the experiences they need to succeed in the world. So we make that promise academically, socially, in terms of our co-curriculars, our athletics. Our goal really is to make sure that every single student is able to get the maximum benefit from our small liberal arts college education. Next, please. As I mentioned at the beginning, we are located in a pretty special place. So this is another view from our beautiful campus up at the top of the campus where you see we're located in the foothills of the Catskills Mountains. And we believe that for all of our students that in order to thrive once they complete their experience at Hartwick in the big wondrous world that we all live in, that we really need to understand the special place that they will occupy during their time with us at Hartwick. I know that the COVID pandemic has been incredibly difficult for all of us. And one of the things that we've come to appreciate is our shared humanity and the fact that we're all in the world together. And we really try to cultivate at Hartwick an opportunity for students to feel connected to the place, to Oneonta, New York, but also to each other, so that they feel prepared to engage with the world during their time at Hartwick and once they finish with us and head off to their own adventures. Next, please, Jim. So a little bit about the specifics of where we're located, our physical location. For students who come to us, we tell them that their new home at Hartwick is located in the foothills of the Catskills Mountains. This map here illustrates the northeastern portion of the United States. The state of New York is highlighted in blue, and Hartwick College is located right in the middle of New York State, and that little white dot there that shows the Hartwick logo. We're located in the town of Oneonta, and as David said at the beginning, it can be a little bit difficult to pronounce. Oneonta is actually a native, an indigenous word from the native peoples who lived in our region before the arrival of European settlers. Oneonta is a small college town, which means that much of the social life and cultural life around the community centers around our campus and also the other university campus, which is located in the same community. There is a State University of New York campus, SUNY Oneonta, which is just across the street from us. So the combination of Hartwick College and the SUNY campus means we have thousands of undergraduate students in Oneonta, which leads to a very vibrant cultural scene with lots of arts events, music events, and opportunities for young people to socialize. The other nice thing about the fact that Hartwick is located in a college town, in a small town, is that it's quite a safe and welcoming community. Although we're just an easy train ride away from New York City, we're not in a large urban area. And so we feature, our community is quite welcoming. Folks know each other and are comfortable with each other. It's a very safe environment. And the fact that students are living in a small town also means there are ample opportunities for students to engage with the local community through internships, through jobs off campus, through partnerships for research. The fact that we are such a large presence in the community means that almost everyone working on campus is connected to someone in the town who is in the mayor's office or works for a local business or works in the local school system. So we have great social networks and connections throughout the town that our students are able to take full advantage of. We are located just a few hours, however, from the major metropolitan areas of the Northeast of the United States. So both New York City and Boston are just about 3 hours away. And in a few minutes, Caitlin will tell us a little bit about the opportunities that our international students have to visit these locations. We like to say that it's the best of both worlds when you come to Hartwick. You live in a small, safe, and welcoming community, and you have access to the large urban centers that are close by. Next, please. So we'd like to spend the next few minutes talking about life on our campus so that representatives will have an understanding of what daily life is like for our students. Of course, we are a residential campus, which means that students live with us 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We sometimes like to say that it's a little bit like living at a resort because there are so many opportunities available for students, food available around the clock, activities available around the clock. So it's a little bit difficult to describe all the many opportunities that are available. The next few slides and a couple of videos hopefully will give us an overview. Next, please. So of course, as a residential college, the most important thing that students focus on during their time with us is their academic learning. And it's at the center and the heart of everything that we do. We have world-class faculty, 98% of whom have PhDs or terminal degrees in their field, who are very committed to undergraduate education. One of the exciting things about coming to Hartwick is that you get to know your professors on a first name basis, and you get to take full advantage of our world-class academic facilities, laboratories, performance halls, library, archives, and so on. So certainly a big part of the campus experience revolves around learning and the academic experience. Next, please. But in addition to our academic learning, of course, students also learn by playing and by interacting with each other in a variety of opportunities that we provide on campus. Almost 30% of our undergraduate students participate in NCAA sports, and I believe Luisa will tell us a little bit more about this in a few minutes. Athletics are a big, important part of our identity. Many of our students, even if they're not full-time athletes themselves, participate in intramural sports and certainly come out to celebrate and cheer on our Hawks in the football team, on the Latin American football, swimming, equestrian, and a variety of other sports that we have. But in addition to athletics, we have a tremendous array of co-curricular opportunities for students to play in the art studios, in our cardio lab, on our hiking trails, at our Pine Lake Environmental Campus. So when we talk about playing, we're not only referring to athletics, but to all of the many co-curricular experiences that students engage in clubs, in a variety of fields, both on campus and off campus. And lastly, it's important to remember that the important part of experience for students on campus, in addition to academics and their co-curriculars, are the connections that they make with other students. Next slide, please, Jim. So we really feel that it's important to emphasize that we put a lot of time and effort into developing and curating experiences for students to grow together during their time at Hartwick. We do this through travel opportunities for students during January term, but also travel experiences that students have throughout the year to bond with their peers, to create cohorts, to have shared experiences so that they can develop not just academically, but personally and socially as well. We know that the time period between the ages of 18 and 21 is a very formative time in people's development. And so we're very intentional about creating opportunities for students to bond, to connect with one another, to build lifelong friendships that they will carry with them when they graduate from Hartwick. Next, please. So what we're going to talk about now is what sets us apart from many of our peer and aspirant institutions. And specifically, we want to focus on what sets us apart as we work with international students, global scholars in the area of global engagement and international engagement. So we're going to spend the next few minutes talking specifically about that aspect of the Hartwick experience. Next, please. We'll start with a brief welcome, specifically for international students, from the president of Hartwick College, Margaret Drogovich. So as soon as we can get the technology going, we have a just brief introductory welcome video from Margaret.
My name is Margaret Drogovich, and I'm the president of Hartwick College. When I joined the Hartwick community 13 years ago as its president, I was truly impressed. Impressed by the nurturing commitment to students that I saw demonstrated by Hartwick faculty and staff, impressed by the quality of the academic program that combines broad-based education with practical experience, impressed by the phenomenal beauty of our campus with its 35-mile view into the Susquehanna Valley, and impressed with the truly welcoming nature of this community. What I found is what you'll find. At Hartwick, there is room for all points of view and students from all backgrounds. As we have so many times during the college's 224-year history, Hartwick has evolved to assure that our approach to education is contemporary and relevant and will prepare our graduates for success. At Hartwick, you'll have access to world-class educators, a vibrant campus life, and a campus-based residential experience. And because of our proximity to large cities located on the East Coast of the United States, you'll actually have the best of both worlds. A comfortable and reassuring place to live and study while on campus with access to cities like Boston and New York. We love having students from around the world on our campus. And the best time in my day is the time I spend with Hartwick students. I hope to meet and spend time with you very soon. Welcome to Hartwick College.
So President Drogovich, I think, really speaks for all of us when we say that we aspire to be a welcoming community that embraces folks from all over the world. She's very personable and gets to know students individually. And she really, her approach to welcome, I think, is indicative of the culture of Hartwick overall. Next, please, Jim. So next up, Caitlin and Louisa, I think, are going to talk with us a little bit about the specific experiences of international students and the opportunities that are available to them. So Caitlin, I will turn it over to you.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much, Patty. And buenos dias, everyone. Hello, my name is Caitlin. I'm the Administrative Assistant for Global Education. And I'd just like to briefly introduce my office and some of the services we provide for our international students and also the international opportunities that all of our students have to explore the world. So my office, we are here to support and welcome our students from wherever they come from. And we provide like immigration advising from issuing I-20s to helping them with employment authorization, or if they wish to, like after they graduate, we help support them as well. And we also provide several different events for the course of the year. So from the orientation at the beginning of the semester to, we have like the Taste of the World Festival, and also, we work closely with the International Club, which Lisa is also a member of, and we have like dinners for international students and try to give them opportunities to go and explore the local community, and then also arrange excursions to the nearby cities like New York City, Boston, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. So after the pandemic's over, we definitely want to be able to help our students again visit these areas and take advantage of our community. And in addition to that, we also have a number of programs that go off campus. And one of our most popular ones is the January term program, also known as J-term program. And we have 8 programs so far that are scheduled to run in January of 2022. And this is open to everyone. And we have lots of funding available for scholarships that we provide to both domestic and international students. So several of our current international students have signed up to go to like Central Europe or spend a month in Thailand or South Korea. So there are many different places, and these are led by our faculty members. And we also have a number of other scholarships that are available for international internships or research or independent study abroad. So these are donated to us by like alumni or other donors. And there's also like the Cyrus Mary Fellowship, and the past 2 recipients of this were both international students, and this fellowship helps our students develop programming throughout the year on campus that they are able to share more about like their culture and their experience. So there's many different opportunities available for our students, and I'd like to invite Lisa to share more about her personal experience.
Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. I think what I'll do here is like tie in my personal experience as like Louisa, international student, and what I've done to what's offered and the opportunities that we have on campus. But first, a quick introduction is, my name is Louisa. Hi, everybody. I'm from Brazil. I am a junior this year. So I only have one year left in this amazing community that I now call my home. But I've always been somebody who values the international experience and becoming globally rounded, generally speaking. And I think that when we talk about the promise that Hartwick has of a personalized experience, I say that the truth is I could have never imagined the experience that I would Jesus Christ, sorry, code switching right now is terrible. The experiences that I was about to embark, and the people that I would create bonds with from classmates and teammates. I also play soccer at Hartwick, and that's allowed me to do all these different kinds of things. Co-workers, club peers, even alumni and faculty. I get to have very deep and fulfilling experiences in conversations with all different kinds of people on that are staff and faculty. But in terms of like international experience, Caitlin talked a little bit about JTerm, and there have been a couple of pictures in the presentation already that was actually my group in our trip to Portugal. And that itself is like an amazing example because I got to, take one class and spend almost a month in Portugal, translating for a group of peers and my other two program directors, being the class a hybrid between, biology and economics, and studying the fermentation and reallocation of food systems, in Portugal and how that impacts the economy. It was great, and also having the opportunity to take on these different leadership positions on and off campus really gave me the ability to like spread my passions to my peers and coworkers. These academic challenges and international programs gave me even more the ability to become globally rounded, as I said, was my goal and has been. And Hartwick, being a small liberal arts college, also like fosters this environment that, helps us think outside the box. And I think that's really important. Not having that aspect of all your classes are, a lecture type room where you don't get to go to your professors and talk about, this specific thing that's not clicking for you. And, all you have to do is just walk into their office for a check-in. And that's really not available for like, huge size schools. And that's what I was looking for and found at Hartwick. Besides that, being an international student, I think diversity and inclusion on campus is really important. And by the way, please tell me if I'm going over, but there's really just a lot to talk about. But, for example, I was invited by the athletic department, to partake in the actual formation of our diversity and inclusion committee, in partnership with SAC, which is our athletic association, and all of that to really, change the aspect and just promote more equality and make it visible and as an athletic community in school itself. And Caitlin, we get to work together because, I'm a member of the international club and I'm the treasurer specifically, but, we all work together. We have the responsibility of, reaching out to different departments, getting approval and making budget reallocations and all that to really get event planning going throughout the semesters and have people, interact with our international community and just, exchange culture values and all the customs that we experience in this culture shock. As well as that, I always talk about just going actually abroad. And I consider that I'm studying abroad, but I would like to go abroad for a second time, which is, that is probably one of the coolest things that I think Hartwick has too. And I would love to take advantage of is, the partnerships that we have with schools in Fribourg, in Switzerland and in Japan as well. It's just the tuition exchange program, but it's just so fulfilling because it's a whole entire semester where you can, transfer your credits and just really immerse yourself within the culture. I was actually supposed to be in Switzerland right now, but because of COVID, it didn't happen. But hopefully at the end of my senior year, we'll make that happen. In terms of scholarships, oh, sorry.
Sorry, Louisa, I was going to say, I hope so too. We probably do need to maybe just wrap things up in about a minute or so we can move on to the other slides. I know you have so many experiences to share. It's hard to, I don't want to cut you off.
No problem.
Do you have one more thing you wanted to share before we move on?
No, that's it. I was going to talk about the Emerson, but, it's just another opportunity for us to, get funding to go have an internship abroad. But that was it.
Okay. Thanks, Louisa. I'm guessing there'll be time for Q&A at the end. Louisa has had so many wonderful experiences that I know we could let her talk for the full hour and we still would not hear all of her experiences. So thank you for sharing a little bit of what you've been able to do at Hartwick.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Of course. Can we go to the next slide, please, Jim? Just because I want to make sure we get through all of the details that our colleagues will need to know in order to be able to share everything about Hartwick with prospective students that might want to come and join us in the future. So next we have another short video, this one's slightly longer, that gives more of a flavor of the day-to-day life on campus for students. So whenever we're ready to start that one, Jim, we can go right ahead.
This is Hartwick College. And great news, you're going to be one of us in August. So I bet you're wondering what it's like to be a student here. Well, it can be a lot of things. Like one night, you might head to your RA's program, grab a slice of free pizza, and play awesome games with your new friends. You could stay after to talk to your RA about choosing housing for next year, and picking a roommate. Or maybe one day you'll have a super big chem test to study for, and you'll stay up super late to study for it. But then, on your way to class, you stumble across the massage chair set up on the Dewar balcony. Ah, perfect. The student-run Hartwick Campus Activities Board puts on free events like this all the time. And if you show up to bingo, a Hartwick favorite, you might be lucky enough to win the biggest thing of cheese balls you've ever seen. Some of us come from big cities with lots of people, and some from small towns where a lot of people look a lot alike. Hartwick is a place with all kinds of people, and plenty of ways to get to know each other better. Like Carnival, a celebration of the diversity of humanity, or Safe Zone training, where you can learn about LGBTQ issues and how to be a better ally. Or the Women's Center, or HIA, the Hartwick Identity Alliance. There are so many events and activities open to the whole campus, and you don't have to go looking for them. Text messages and announcements will be coming your way. After enjoying some of Hartwick's world-famous chicken nuggets one day, you might want to grab your roommate and check out the different Greek organizations on campus. Hartwick sororities and fraternities become friends and family, and they make their mark on the community, volunteering at the food shelter, raising money for St. Jude's Hospital, and helping in the nearby animal shelter. They also organize blood drives, service projects, and social events that everyone seems to love. Students here also love the outdoors. Our 425-acre campus rises up Oyarin Hill for a 30-mile view across the Susquehanna Valley. You can take the free shuttle out to Pine Lake, check out the environmental campus, and go canoeing or kayaking. If you can't get enough, you can live there in the cabins. Close to the lake and hiking trails, plus a climbing wall and high ropes course. It's only 15 minutes away from our main campus, but it feels like a whole other world. And if you want to give back, we have that too. To connect with our campus and community needs, check out the student-run Office of Community Involvement and Volunteerism. Yeah, it'll look great on your resume, but volunteering just feels really good. Give more than 200 hours to the community, and you'll even get service cords to wear at graduation. On those days that you wake up feeling not so great without so much as a Band-Aid, that's where the Perella Health Center comes in. No car, no problem. It's a quick walk across campus, and it's super easy to set up a visit with a counselor or the nurse practitioner. If you have to get off campus for an appointment or to pick up a prescription, Hartwick's Health Squad will give you a ride for free. We've all heard of the Freshman 15, right? Well, if you decide that's not for you, you can hit up the Campbell Fitness Center a few times a week. Our Director of Wellness and her team of student personal trainers are right there if you need them to show you the equipment and give you insider tips. If you're up for it, sign up for a free spin class one week and a Zumba class and an HIIT course the next week. After a great workout, You might just be in the mood for an iced caramel macchiato at John Christopher's Cafe, just across Frisbee Field. One day, you'll probably have just one of those days. You know, where you accidentally lock your keys and ID card in your room. But then, lucky for you, campus safety is around 24/7 to let you back in after classes are out. Officers can even offer you an escort if you ever feel uncomfortable. It's good to know they're always there for you, walking campus and responding when needed. Just making sure we're all safe. So, whether you're the type of student who does great in a big study group, or the type who likes to study on your own, Hartwick has the environment to support you. And all of this is just a little of what it's like to be a student at Hartwick.
I'm going to say to Luisa that I hope she's not crying now, because she's not currently on our campus. She's in Brazil at the moment, and I'm sure she's missing all of those wonderful activities and all the things that students get to do on a daily basis. So what we're going to do now is move to talk a little bit about the specifics of our academic programs, scholarships, and the details that students and parents would be interested in knowing if they're considering Hartwick for their international education experience, and we certainly hope that they will. So as we've mentioned, we have amazing faculty who are incredibly well qualified, who conduct research and creative opportunities and experiences on their own, and partner with students on a regular basis to do that work. Our student to faculty ratio is 10-1, and our average class size is just 15 students. So it's difficult to be anonymous at Hartwick. Faculty know the students and students know the faculty. It feels like a small and intimate kind of environment in which our professors really get to know students' interests and their background and are able to be supportive and helpful if they need additional support in any academic areas. Even though we're a relatively small institution, we offer majors and programs in over 40 areas and minors in even more. Next, please. The slide shows a picture of Professor Carly Ficano, who's one of Luisa's main professors on campus. She's one of our most beloved instructors. As the video mentioned, we also have an environmental campus called Pine Lake, which is used for both recreation and research. We have archaeology field schools, biology field schools, outdoor education opportunities that take place there. And our main campus has over 400 acres on which students can hike and play and learn. You may have heard in the video the mention of the word Frisbee Field, which is a large field on campus where students play Frisbee and hang out outside. We have a very vibrant set of student experiences that are run by students themselves with over 60 student organizations, including the International Club. And as I said before, over 30% of our students participate in one or more sports, and we have a total of 19 NCAA teams on campus, all of which leads to a very vibrant curricular and co-curricular experience for our students. Next, please. In terms of our academic experience, one of the things that really complements everything that we do is the fact that we have over 18,000 alumni around the world. And our alumni are very loyal to Hartwick, and they're very engaged with student education to this day. So alumni regularly partner with faculty and professors to bring experiences to students in the classroom, bringing in guest lectures, problem-based learning, opportunities to do internships, and a variety of other partnerships. So it's like they're an extension of our faculty, that we have so many thousands of alumni that engage with us regularly. And we have over $60 million in financial aid, which is awarded to 95% of our students on an annual basis. Next, please. In terms of specifically in terms of academics, we are a traditional liberal arts college, which means that we have over 40 academic programs in a variety of fields in the humanities, in social sciences, and in the physical sciences. Our most popular majors are listed on the slide. Those include nursing, biology, business, psychology, and criminal justice. But we also have tremendously strong programs in art, in theater, in philosophy, in modern languages, in anthropology, in chemistry, in statistics. And so we offer strong academic programs all across the liberal arts disciplines. Many of our students double major or have a major and a minor. And it's quite common for students to have a major and a minor in fields that are not related to one another. So they might major in business and minor in art, or major in psychology and minor in chemistry, for example. There's ample room within our curriculum for students to have those kinds of experiences, to do double majors or a major and a minor. In addition to the traditional areas and our largest majors, we have a number of unusual areas in which students major on campus. So we have an environmental sustainability and society major. We have a graphic communications major. We have a major in public health. We have one in cognitive science. And we also have the opportunity for each and every student to design their own major through our ISP program, the Independent Studies program. So if you're interested in, say, fashion and sustainability, you could design a major in fashion and sustainability, incorporating classes from art and design and our business program. So we're quite proud of the fact that we can customize and personalize the study experience, and students can study what they love. Next, please. In addition to our plethora of offerings across the curriculum, we also have an innovative option at Hartwick, which enables students to complete a full bachelor's degree. What normally takes 4 years, you can complete it in 3 years at Hartwick. So we have it's called the Degree in 3 program, and 27 of our majors participate in this program, where we have a pre-designed series of courses that students know in advance they can take in just 3 years and complete their full degree. So you don't have to plan it out yourself, but it's already been sorted for you so that you know which classes to take. If you're interested in doing the 3-year program and it's not one of our existing 27 participating majors, it's still possible to complete your degree in 3. It just requires a little bit more coordination and collaboration with your academic advisor and your success coach to make sure that you can complete it on time. For students who complete the degree in 3, of course, they save a full year of tuition, and it enables them to start their career or start graduate school a year earlier than they otherwise would. I have to say that many students come to Hartwick thinking that they want to do the degree in 3, and then they find that it's such an amazing experience that they want a 4th year. I see Louisa is smiling. So it's often the case that students come in thinking they'll only do 3 years, but they end up staying for 4. Maybe they add a minor or a second major or another opportunity to study abroad or do internships in order to have that full 4-year experience. Next, please. So the last thing we want to talk about before we open up the session to question and answer is a new strategic initiative that we've just launched this year at Hartwick. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about the strategic initiative that's called Flight Path, which was launched this year as a way to elevate and improve the Hartwick experience for all of our students. What we've done with Flight Path is we've taken the best of Hartwick and we've made it better. And we've tried to expand opportunities for students across all of the areas that we've already been talking about. Next, please. So there are dozens of new programs and opportunities that are available to students through Flight Path. I won't have time to go into all of them here, but I did want to just hit the highlights. So the idea with Flight Path is that we've created a curated experience for students across their 4 years or 3 years, if they do the degree in 3, that enables them to excel academically, to grow personally, and to have rich and meaningful co-curricular experiences, and to be career or graduate school ready for their participation in the real world. So those are color-coded on this slide as orange for academics, green for co-curriculars, and blue for career or real-world experiences. And essentially what we've done with Flight Path is we've reinvented the general education curriculum to provide more opportunities for students in the first year of their experience to be career ready. So we have Flight Path classes starting at orientation, and first semester students take a first year seminar. Over their first J term, They do their very first discovery trip together with their peers who are first-year students. And in the spring of their first year, they take 21st century modules classes, which focus on 21st century skills like data literacy, scientific literacy, and cultural competency. And those classes really enable students to succeed throughout their time at Hartwick. In the sophomore year, we also add in more explicit components related to careers. So students participate in something called the Success Summit, where alumni come together to help students understand things like professional etiquette, resume tips and tricks, how to interview for jobs, how to land your first internship. And so they experience that in the fall. And in the spring, they experience something called the Career Hop, where all of our sophomore students get the opportunity to job shadow an alumnus from the college. So once COVID is over, these experiences will not be virtual, but students will be traveling to New York, to Boston, to Philadelphia, to other places in the Northeast, and spending a day or more with an alumnus of the college, learning about their job and learning what life is like as a professional. The other exciting thing about Flight Path is that the college has invested a lot of resources in further enhancing the on-campus experience. So these are the things that would also be in green on this map. So we're investing in having an even more vibrant campus. We've hired quite a few new professionals in student experience that are helping to design new programs and have new activities on campus. We've invested a lot of money in the physical infrastructure, in upgrading facilities on campus and in placing outdoor sculptures and other opportunities for engagement to happen outdoors at Hartwick. And then the last thing I'll mention about Flight Path is that we've created what you see on the bottom of this slide. We've created something called a guidance team. So Hartwick has always been great at pairing students with their academic advisors. And Louisa mentioned that she has a close relationship with several faculty that she's traveled with. We're now improving that even more by adding a full team of advisors to work with each and every student. So each student at Hartwick is now assigned a faculty advisor in their academic area, but they're also assigned a success coach. And the success coach's job is to help students connect to all of the resources that we have to offer on campus. Internship opportunities, study abroad opportunities, programming, work study on campus, and the many services that we have available. In the third year, students are also assigned a career coach, someone specifically from career development to help them get their resume ready and think about their job opportunities. And they're also assigned an alumni mentor, an individual who graduated from Hartwick who will serve as their coach and their guide as they think about what they're doing after their experience at Hartwick. Collectively, all of these resources and experiences we refer to as the Flight Path experience. And the idea here is that we're wanting students to know that they get to design their own flight path. They get to design their own experience. They get to choose where they're headed with their Hartwick education. Next, please. So we know that students will be interested in knowing how to apply. Working with our colleagues at MSM, we've developed a streamlined process where students can use the Common App. Here are some examples of the things that we recommend that they include in addition to the Common App. Next, please. And of course, students and parents will want to know what all of this will cost. It's a substantial investment to have something like a Hartwick education. And so just very briefly, we wanted to show you the overall price, including tuition, room and board, and the comprehensive fee for Hartwick College students. That's a very large number, and we recognize that it's a substantial investment, which is why the college is very committed to providing scholarship opportunities, not only for our domestic students, but also for our international students. Next slide, please. And so we're very pleased to share the opportunities that we have available for students to afford a Hartwick education. We encourage students to apply early, if possible, in order to maximize their options. We provide merit awards based on academic success at the time of application, at the time of acceptance. So there are no additional forms required to apply for merit-based scholarships. And through our partnership with MSM, we have reduced the application fee to just $200 for international students, which we hope will make this opportunity more accessible to them. We mentioned before that we award over $60 million in comprehensive financial aid each year. And international students typically receive between $25,000 and $37,000 in scholarships each year. So there's quite a generous amount of funding available to support international students to succeed at Hartwick. Next, please. So we hope that students will be inspired to check us out online. We have, in addition to the regular admissions page, a wonderful landing page for international students, where I think Luisa is prominently featured, and where there are also examples of the videos that we showed earlier today, and more details about the scholarship opportunities for study abroad for international students and the short-term trips that we take with them. And with that, I'll move to the last slide. And I think we have just about 10 minutes left for questions and answers in español, in portugués, como quieren. So please, we'd be very happy, Luisa, Caitlin, and I would be very happy to answer any questions that colleagues might have.
Thank you so much, Patricia. I think it was a wonderful presentation. Lots of useful information for our agents here. We have received a number of questions through WhatsApp because some of our agents face some internet connectivity challenges this morning. So we are going to be reading those questions to you here while we have our attendees here writing their questions. So one of the first questions that I have received in here is for Luisa, and it is about your recommendations for future students, Luisa. Is there anything that you can tell us that you would do differently when applying or when dealing with your application process and so forth that you would do different at this stage, not based on your overall experience at Hartwick? Any recommendations for upcoming students would be great.
Sure, yeah. Fortunately, I get the chance to work with a lot of prospective students in the admissions department, being a Blue Key tour guide on campus. And I think my recommendation is just to be on top of all the paperwork, because it is a big transition going into, from high school to college and not having everything organized and just getting on top of your stuff. I know that it's, a very frustrating thing when it's such a big decision to make and you're not sure and everything, but just, kind of filtering all your options and being on top of each deadline and where to send, to which email and to who to talk to, so I think that's one of my suggestions. And the other one is to just, be super open in all of these processes to talking to people and asking for help, because it can get, just kind of overwhelming, but Hartwick makes the process very simple, and also just has usually a very good staff and people that are willing to help. But yeah, just that's something that we need to learn regardless in college, is just to be on top of your stuff and do time management things. And yeah. But I wouldn't have done anything different, just maybe bring some more winter gear to Hartwick. But that's a very specific problem.
David,
Awesome.
and also have a question for Luisa. Sorry to interrupt you. But Luisa, yeah, I would like to know, how did you decide to buy Hartwick College? Because when you are a student and you look for study options, you look for many colleges or universities. So what was the highlight for Hartwick College? I'd like to know that.
Yeah, the highlight, I think what I was looking for was a small enough environment for me to create, these bonds and foster all of these experiences for myself and just set myself up for, for success, as well as incorporating a lot of that into the process. I'm really passionate about cultures and languages and sports, and Hartwick was able to offer all of those together for me. And it took a lot of curiosity and internal motivation for me to actually decide to move away from everything I once knew as home and further my education in the United States. But this very place we're talking about is now what I consider my home away from home. And who would have thought that I would have the opportunity to be back home as I'm studying abroad because of COVID. But I think it just encompassed the school itself, everything that I was looking for. And to be an athlete and be involved and have this engagement in the community, as well as going into international programs in such a small school, that's, it was priceless to me, and it still is, and it's always going to be an enriching experience. So that's what set it apart. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And after the tour, I was like, I was sure, I had no doubt, after I toured the school, and I just knew it was it.
So that was a good decision. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
for
Lisha.
sure.
I appreciate your answer.
No, thank
Great.
you.
Awesome. From our agents, I think this one is more for Patricia. And they are asking about the certificate and the 4+1 and the 3+3 law programs. Can you please elaborate a little bit more in regards to those programs? First off, are those available for international students? I know that there are some restrictions in some areas, especially for the master degree programs at the moment through our partnership with MSM. If you can give us some background information on these type of programs.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that question. So we do have several current 3+3s and 4+1s that are listed on the website. And I should also mention that we're constantly developing new ones as well. Just last week, we launched a new 4+1 with a master's program in New York City called Glasgow Caledonian New York College, which is a master's in sustainable business. And they also offer a master's degree in sustainable fashion. And that's a 4+1 experience for our students. So the short answer to the question of whether international students are eligible for those experiences is yes. And in fact, we have had international students in the past to complete those. The specifics of visa situations and extensions of visas and whether you would need a new visa for the graduate program varies according to the partner organization, the other institution, and also varies according to the country of origin. But we've had very good success in navigating those visa issues and enabling students to complete those in the same way that a US citizen would be able to complete them. So any opportunity that is available to our US students is also available to our international students. The other nice thing about being such a small institution is that we're able to help navigate those kinds of questions on an individual basis when they come up.
Excellent, Patricia. Thank you. The next question from our agency is about the 3-year bachelor degree programs. Some of them have sent us comments saying that they might be concerned about the times of study versus downtime for students, whether it's too, the academic load for students would be too much, if there is a specific type of profile of a student that we are looking for, one that is more focused, one that is more academic oriented, and perhaps to allow the students that need a little bit more time for their education to enroll into these 4-year degree programs that are more traditional in a sense. What can you tell us about that? What would be sort of your, if you want to put it in marketing terms, segmentation for the 3-year degree programs and the 4-year degree programs? What is the ideal candidate for each one of these programs?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So thank you very much for the agent who asked that question. I think I'll answer by saying what we intended when we first launched the Degree in 3 program, and then what we're finding now in terms of student interest and market segmentation for who are the best candidates for that program. So when we launched the Degree in 3 program a number of years ago, it was our expectation that the majority of the students who would be interested in that program were our most academically well-qualified students. And that they would feel comfortable with the somewhat more accelerated academic process. And we really marketed the program initially specifically to those students. We still find that it's the case that those students do well in the program, but we have found that in terms of demand within the United States, that the students that are actually most interested in the Degree in 3 program tend to be students who are doing so primarily for financial reasons, and that they are less concerned about the academic implications of the decision. It's often a very personal choice for families that would have difficulty paying for a full 4 years of tuition and feel that they could make the sacrifice to pay 3 years. and the student can work a little bit harder in order to then be able to graduate in that 3-year time. We have found over the last several years that most students, no matter their level of academic preparation, are able to succeed in the 3-year degree program. And I think that's primarily because we have an excellent system of student support at Hartwick. So we have a Center for Student Success where tutoring is available to students. We have a writing center that supports students in the acquisition of basic writing skills. This year, we're launching also a numeracy center where students that need support in mathematics are able to access tutors. And our small class size really enables students to get the customized and tailored support that they need in order to be successful, even in the degree in 3. It is not the case that students in the degree in 3 take a much heavier load. Instead, what we've done is try to be strategic about the way that those requirements are arranged so that students don't feel overwhelmed in any one particular semester. So in terms of who we would market that program to, I would say that it's any student that feels like for personal reasons, either financial reasons or other personal reasons, that a more accelerated timeline is better for them. I think that they could be successful in that program.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Patricia. The next question that we have here is for Luisa. Agents wants to know, what are you studying? What is your major, and whether you are doing a minor as well? And how would you describe Oneonta in your own words? Because it's I feel it's such a new city for us in Latin America. Of course, the major reference that we could have would be New York City and the New Jersey area and so forth. But Oneonta is such a new city that some of our agents are really curious about. How would you describe it in your own words?
Oneonta is astronomically different than anything I knew for 17 years of my life. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. First of all, I study business, global studies, and French. Those are technically my official majors. Lately, I've been having this, really intense interest for graphic communications, and it kind of ties along with my interest in marketing within business. So I've been taking a lot of art classes along with that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to be a triple major and have one minor. Sometimes I catch myself being interested in too many things at once, but, at least I'll definitely be able to finish 2 majors and maybe at one of those, global studies or graphic communications as a minor. That's what's cool about Hartwick, is that, I can declare it as, if I took the credits for it, then I can declare it as such, and it's awesome. But I think Oneonta is such a small town, and it has such a personal feel to it. You feel that on campus at Hartwick. I don't feel that in the SUNY Oneonta campus, for example, but I do feel that all around the town. If I go to grab something to eat, on Main Street, it's just a completely different experience than I had, walking in the busiest avenue in São Paulo. But it's just so cute. I love the town. It does get cold, and that's the thing about me as a Brazilian. But that was also on me freshman year of not having proper gear. I should have known where I was going. But besides that, it is beautiful. Every season too, and I think that the scenery just makes it 10 times better than it already is. The fact that, for example, the soccer field that we practice in is like the highest place on the hill, and it's just, you're just there playing soccer, doing what you love, knowing that you'll get right back to class after this ends, and then grabbing some lunch with friends at the Commons, or maybe grabbing something different and paying nothing with our student ID for the bus around town and getting any place. But yeah, that's how I would describe it. But super, super different than what I was used to, and that's the whole reason why I came. I wanted to be exposed to something different, and I definitely got that. And not only just the town of Oneonta, but Portugal, and I might know Switzerland because of that too, and that's what's amazing to me. So
awesome. Thank you, Luisa. Diana, from your end.
No, no questions at the moment. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate that testimonial of Luisa. It's very helpful for us. And yeah, thank you for all the presentation. I think that is very important for us to know all this information and also for our agents. Yeah, if I have any question, because yeah, some agents, they had some problems, some connections problems. So I will send it to you, Patricia.
Awesome. I have a couple of final questions in here, Patricia. I think this one is either for you or for Caitlin, and it's about COVID-19 vaccination for international students, quarantining when arriving into New York State, New York City, probably the major hub where students from Latin America would be arriving is JFK. Any information on that regard for our agents would be great.
Yeah, thank you, David. Maybe I'll take a first stab at it and then Caitlin can add anything that I missed. In terms of COVID-19, like everyone else, we're waiting to see how the situation evolves, and we will certainly update our policies and procedures as the date gets closer for fall enrollment. At the moment, we have a very robust and very thorough COVID mitigation plan on campus. So among the things that we're doing at Hartwick we're doing regular surveillance testing of all students and all staff and all faculty once a week. We have dedicated isolation housing and quarantine housing set aside so that anyone who tests positive can be safe and get access to food and all the services that they need and be able to attend their classes virtually while they're waiting to get out of quarantine. And those will be in place for the fall as well. We currently have a vaccination campaign happening on campus. In fact, while we were on this call, I got a text message that the Johnson & Johnson shots are available. Caitlin smiling, I think in the Commons this afternoon. So we have an active vaccination campaign happening on campus right now, and I anticipate that will continue into the fall. And so, again, we're a small community with close connections to the local health network and the public health system in the state of New York. And President Dragovich has been a fierce advocate for making sure that all the vaccine supplies are available to all the members of our community. So I fully anticipate that will continue. I don't know what our policy will be with respect to whether we will require vaccination for students who enroll at the college in the fall. Many institutions in the United States have gone ahead and decided that they will require vaccinations in order for students to be on campus. If we were to make that decision at Hartwick, we certainly would make sure that we provide opportunities for international students to meet that requirement. And would not require that they be vaccinated before they get on the airplane, but would enable them to come to the United States and then be in isolation or quarantine until such time as they're fully vaccinated. And I expect that some of our domestic students would be in a similar situation. Caitlin, did you want to address the arrival at JFK portion of that question?
Yes. So I think that we generally encourage our international students to try to arrive at the Albany airport, because that way we have like shuttles that go to Albany. We can pick up the students and bring them to campus. So if they do need to arrive in JFK, like we might have to consider alternative accommodations, but generally it's best for them to come to Albany or Binghamton or a local airport nearby so that we can be there to welcome them and have a sign up for them.
Caitlin usually is part of the welcoming party that's at the airport to welcome students, and we can share those details. Obviously, for most international students coming from Latin America, they would transit through JFK and then take a small commuter flight into Albany. There is also a train that runs from New York City that is an option, and we could, individual students might choose alternative forms of transportation, which is fine. But what we're able to support most easily, if they're coming by air, is arriving at the Albany airport, as Caitlin mentioned.
Excellent. Thank you, Patricia and Caitlin. And last question from one of our agents is for Luisa, and is the following. Are you planning on traveling back to the United States now that students from Brazil and other countries have that travel exemption?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking for this exact piece of news for so long, and yeah, for sure, I'm coming back to campus. It's my senior year. I'm just finishing up my junior year down here. I never would have imagined that throughout those 4 years, so many things would have happened that would allow me to do so. But I'm definitely coming back, getting there a little bit prior to class starting, just because we have usually preseason and where we get to prepare for my last season as a Hawk, playing soccer. But yeah, I'm definitely coming back and for my last year, and maybe hopefully I'm working on that with Caitlin to go maybe to Switzerland still and do an Emerson somewhere. Emerson is one of these scholarships where we get to have an experience abroad. So I'm still hoping that happens, once we're all vaccinated and safe to do so. So yeah.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, best of luck with your return on campus. Luisa, thank you so much for your participation in this session. It's been amazing having that student perspective and hearing your experiences. Definitely, we get excited. I want to go back to school. That's for sure. And I think that's the feeling that many of our agents and ourselves would have in here. Thank you so much, Patricia and Caitlin, for being here in this session. And we will be certain to circulate this video with all of the agents that couldn't make it because of those technical difficulties. And we will let you know when this is posted in YouTube as well. Thank you so much and have an amazing rest of the day. Thank you so much to all of our agents here for your questions and for your interest and for being here with us this morning. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, David.
Gracias.
Hasta luego.
Bye-bye.
Obrigada.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.